Hi, we are so excited that you've decided to purchase a meal kit from the Pampered Chef. And so I wanted to take a quick minute and give you an insider's view on some fabulous things that will help you make your meal kit, be able to cook it properly, and ensure that it's something that you desire to repeat with your family. This is something that Pampered Chef has only been recently offering, and it has really been helping families save money, make sure that they're eating ingredients they purchase, and making sure that their leftovers turn into planovers. So this is your top 10 tips on how to make sure that when you're doing your freezer meals that you are satisfied with the end result. Okay, so we're going to start. Number 1, the top cap of your rubs and seasoning mixes is approximately a tablespoon. So just remember that as you turn it over, you're going to fill it up and dump it into your baggie. Secondly, your hand is actually a measurement. So when your recipe calls for an ounce of finely grated Parmesan cheese, you can just fill up your hand and dump it in the bag. That actually is true for lots of the other things that you're looking at as well. Now, of course, for liquid measurements, you're probably going to need a set of measuring cups, and I happen to know where you can get some. The other thing that is helpful when you're measuring is if you have out your set of measuring cups, you're going to find that you use them as you go through quite a bit. Third is, if you already own a crock pot, you can cook all of these meals directly in the crock pot. However, most of our families find that they prefer the texture of cooking their meat in either the stone dish that we have called the deep covered baker or the rock crock. You're going to notice both of these items are listed in your instructions. The DCB is the deep covered baker. The DORC is the Dutch oven rock crock. My personal favorite is the rock crock because it now has a slow cooker stand that enables you to cook your meals just like you would in a crock pot, but without the texture that everything just falls to pieces. So definitely ask your consultant about that. The fourth is some storage tips. So when you are making your meals at home, it is very important to take out as much air as you can from your Ziploc bags. And I will encourage you to spend the extra money and get the Ziploc bags. The name brand, really, it does make a difference. Also, you want to avoid the slide top bags because they do leak in the freezer. So when you're making them, get out as much air as you can, fold over the top as much as you can with your double bags and your little recipe guide right on the inside, and fold them as flat as you can to put them in your freezer. That's going to really help when it's time for storage in your freezer, okay? Also with that storage tip, just a note, it might not fit when you take your meal out and put it in the crock pot or your rock crock, but don't stress. If you even have the top up a tiny bit or it's angled on there, as it's cooking, it's going to fold down and be just fine. I do it all the time. The next is that you are not having to eat every bit of that meal once it's been cooked. We recommend that you put everything together in your meal kit as your food is still raw. So there's really no cooking ahead of time, with the exception of cooking your ground meat or ground turkey. So we want you to take everything and put it raw, assembled in the freezer, so that when you cook it with your family, if you have leftovers, you have a few options with the leftover portions. You can either take it and refreeze it so that you have made yourself like a Stouffer's lasagna. It's already cooked. All you have to do is defrost it. So just to know that, as you're looking, if you have a sizable portion left over, refreeze it and then use it again in a week or two. Next is cook once, eat twice. So let's say you cook one of your recipes and you eat 2 of your chicken breasts, but you have 2 left over. In my house, we call that plan overs, where I take that extra portion of protein and turn it into something else. So on the fridge chart, which is the 1-page printable your consultant sent you with all of your documents, you're going to see some ideas on how to take it the first night, serve it with rice and some kind of vegetable, and then the next night turn it into sandwiches or pizza or quesadillas or a salad. So there's lots of ideas of ways to take your leftover protein and turn it into something totally different. So think that way. If you have a smaller family, make sure that you're thinking of cook once, eat twice. You could cook a meal on Monday, serve your planovers on Tuesday, cook another meal on Wednesday, serve your planovers on Thursday. It's a great way to make sure you're not wasting and that your budget is really stretching. Next is substitutions. So every family has a different protein that they adore. Some families love chicken at every meal. Other families can't stand chicken. So when you look at your meal selections, just know that you can substitute almost any of the proteins. If your family is a chicken-free family, you can substitute pork chops, you can do venison, lots of different things. So if you have questions, ask your consultant and we'll be happy to help you. We even have some suggestion ideas for the substitutions if you are vegetarian. A lot of our customers will make these meals with portobello mushroom caps in place of steak or chicken. So there's some ideas that we can help you with for sure. And tofu crumbles are very easy to substitute for ground meat or ground turkey. Next is our top 10 tools. When you're going to assemble these meals, it's important that you have some good tools to work with. If you're working with tools that you maybe got 20 years ago that might have needed to go to a garage sale, you're not going to have a great time. And we want you to love this. The idea behind this is as you're cooking, you're saving yourself so much more time in the kitchen in the next week. So I think every family needs to have these top 10, whether you're doing Blue Apron, HelloFresh, or another delivery company, or you're doing Pampered Chef meal kits. Regardless of how you cook, whether you're allergic to your kitchen or you love it, these 10 products I think you really need to have. The first one is a nice knife. If you're trying to cut things and you don't have a nice knife, that's no fun for anybody. You need a nice cutting board. We sell fabulous mats as well as really nice cutting boards, and both of them are very easy on your budget. I think every single family needs a garlic press. Garlic is something that is in tons of recipes. It gives wonderful flavor with hardly any calories whatsoever. Well worth the investment of that press. You need a nice can opener, a nice drainer to be able to use for all of your canned goods. A zester. For several of our recipes, they require lemon or orange zest. And if you don't have that tool, there's no way to get it. So a zester would be a really great option. We have a citrus press that's used to pull out lemon juice, lime juice, and any of your other citruses. And that's a really important one. The other one that I would really suggest if you don't love chopping vegetables is our manual food processor. It's a great tool and our customers love it, and it comes in our new consultant kit. It's so popular. And last but not least is our Rock Crock and our Rock Crock slow cooker stand. They are the #1 things that my host purchased with their free money for a reason. They are very versatile pieces that will help you whether you love to cook or hate it. Next is, what do you do with your leftover spices? Very often when you do one of our meal kits, especially when you do a 10 meal kit, you're gonna have a couple tablespoons of your spices left over. And instead of letting it sit in your pantry, we wanna give you some ideas of what to do with it. You can take some extra seasoning and add it to mayonnaise to make a fabulous spread for your sandwiches. You can add some to butter for a wonderful garlic butter or sweet basil butter or chipotle butter to put on your corn. Amazing. You can take some of your leftover seasonings and use them in your side dishes. If you're sauteing green beans or asparagus or broccoli, throw some of your garlic and herb rub in there. It's delicious. And last but not least, if you have leftover vinegar or oil, take that and mix it together. So if you have a little bit left over of your balsamic vinegar, add some olive oil and pick a spice. Mix it together and you have a homemade salad dressing with no preservatives. Great option. And then you don't have a pantry with leftover spices. You can use them on all kinds of different things. Last but not least in our top 10 is how do you reorder? When you get down to meal number 2, we are going to hope that you've loved the meals that you've tried. And so I want to encourage you to contact your consultant to reorder another kit. We have 10 mini meal kits and 12 of the large meal kits. And each one has been tested and tried by tons of families, consultants all across the country. And they were designed with you in mind to be budget friendly, where you're taking the time to cook at the beginning of the month, let's say, and then you don't have to for the rest of the month. Last little tip as your bonus is I want to really encourage you as you're cooking your first few meals to check your crock pot if you're using a crock pot. Our crock pots all cook at different temperatures, and that's one of the reasons why I love the Rock Crock, because it is so steady. There's no temperature flares, and at low or warm, it does a wonderful job with my meals straight from frozen. If you need more detailed instructions on anything I've mentioned in this video, check out the pack that was sent to you by your consultant. There's tons of great information and lots of tips for you there too. Thanks again for being one of our customers and trying this out, and if we can help you in any way, please let us know. Thanks.